Hello everyone and welcome back to the Cretaceous Chronicles, a show where we talk about all things Jurassic. I'm Dom Guisti, here once again with Sam Perkins from WCTV, and this time we've got a guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Jack Perkins.
Jack, welcome. You excited to be on the show?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So, Jack here is a huge fan of the Jurassic Park movies, as well as Camp Cretaceous and Chaos Theory. And today, since it is a very special occasion, we are going to be reacting to the Jurassic World Chaos Theory Season 3 trailer. So that dropped yesterday, as of recording this, and I saw it and I was like, this is so awesome.
Yeah, we've all watched it multiple times at this point. It was pretty fun. It was tough. I had to wait to watch it because I saw on social media that it dropped, and then you texted me, and I had to wait until I got home with my family because they would have been mad if I watched it without them. But we watched it multiple times, and there's a lot going on in it. So we are. I was shocked when the announcement came out that it was like April 3rd that they announced the official date that it's dropping, because it was like less than a month, I think, until it was dropping.
I think it was on March 3rd. I saw the initial announcement. I was like, whoa, that's just like 1 month away.
Yeah. What did you guys think about the trailer when you saw it?
When I saw it, I was blown away. We've got so many tie-ins. We've got so many more questions answered. What did you think, Jack? Well,
I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Did you? Was there anything that stood out to you in the trailer? Like, Jack, what do you remember the most about the trailer, or what were you like, whoa, the most about in it?
She had a robotic hand.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
Brooklyn. It has some sort of a prosthetic hand. Yeah. I mean, gotta assume it's Brooklyn. I guess we didn't. I don't think we saw the hand and her in the same shot. It was like a close up of. Oh, we did see her. Okay.
We did a couple
I stand
of times.
corrected.
Yeah,
I stand corrected.
It was attached to her, but sometimes she had it off.
Okay, so she gets a prosthetic hand. I was very confused about who is flying the plane that the former Camp Cretaceous, the Nublar 5, so the group minus Brooklyn are on, because obviously at the end of season 2 of Chaos Theory, Brooklyn and the Handler flew off on a plane together, and that had a pilot, you would assume, because neither one of them were piloting it. But then we see in the preview that the other 5 are on some sort of plane with a dinosaur, at least one dinosaur. But who's flying that plane?
Yeah, we have no idea who's flying the plane, so we'll have to.
Rexy's probably on that plane.
You think Rexy's on that plane?
That was probably the plane that was taking them to where they're delivering the dinosaurs to Biosyn.
Oh,
that's a good theory. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good theory, actually.
Because we do see a lot of and I know when we watch it in a second, we'll talk about specific examples, but there's a lot of direct tie-ins to Jurassic World Dominion on this, because when this is going to be taking place is basically right before Dominion, based on the timeline, where it's going to be after Fallen Kingdom, but before Dominion.
Yes, and it's a couple months leading up to Dominion.
And we see some direct tie-ins. We see they actually say Biosyn. We see Dodgson. We see some shots of it's got to be the place in Malta where
the underground black market.
Yeah, the black market for dinosaurs. Jack, do you remember anything else that was in the Jurassic World Dominion movie, Jurassic World 3, that we saw?
Oh, Bumpy's egg hatched.
Okay, Bumpy's egg hatched. Yep.
And Yaz put egg down, and then there was Bumpy's egg hatched
Yeah, so Bumpy's egg hatched. Do you remember any other dinosaurs or anything that we saw in the Jurassic World movie that we saw in the preview for Chaos Theory?
That weird dinosaur wrecking up that plane.
Oh, the Kentrosaurus? Yeah, we saw that in Camp Cretaceous seasons 4 and 5.
I wonder if it's going to be the same one or a different one. If it's going to be, what was the name of that?
Pierce.
Oh, Pierce.
Yeah, because we know what happens to obviously Bumpy. We know what happens to Big Edie, but what happens to all the other dinosaurs
that were on Manticore Island? Yeah.
So Pierce the Kentrosaurus. What happened to Little Edie? I mean, there is the theory that, like, maybe Little Edie was the T-Rex on the mysterious island in Rebirth.
In Rebirth, but something would have had to have happened.
Or Rexy or Big Edie.
To get Little Edie from Manticore Island all the way to that other island. And
over Mexico
what
to
happened
the
to the
Caribbean.
The Spinosaurus that was supposed to be, I guess, the same Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3. That's then on Manticore Island because they said they got the Spinosaurus from Isla Sorna.
Yeah.
So what happened to the spine? Like, what happened to all those dinos that were at Manticore Island? Because I don't think... I mean, who knows? But I don't think that May stayed there by herself without the funding of
Kenji.
What was the company that she was working
Manticore.
for? Oh, Manticore. Yeah, of course, Manticore Island. Without Manticore's funding, which Manticore probably went under after Kenji's dad was arrested for all of those things.
Yeah, and we did hear in season 1 of Chaos Theory that there was this big, like, Manticore investigation. So, like, maybe, like, a bunch of, like, third parties came and ransacked the place.
Could totally see that.
My big question is, what happened to Angel and Rebel, the baby Spinoceratops hybrids?
Yeah, that's a really good question about what happened to them.
And don't forget Firecracker.
Yeah, and Firecracker, the baby Brachiosaurus.
Yeah, so it's... And, you know, it's very interesting. We also saw from Dominion, we saw the raptor, the feathered, the actual sort of more like a...
the Pyroraptor.
Pyroraptor. So we definitely get a shot of that. And it looked like, to me, the brief glimpse you get, like that actually is on Biosyn's... their sanctuary of, I forget what they call that, where Biosyn is sort of headquartered in Jurassic World Dominion.
Yeah, in the Dolomites of Italy.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
So from what I heard, after I had watched a video breaking down the trailer, from what I had heard, there had been multiple Pyroraptors, even though we only see one in Dominion, and we sort of get a glimpse of the Pyroraptor in that, like, ice field, indicating that, like, maybe they're sort of starting to migrate out of the valley.
Yeah, because we see it in the ice field as well in Dominion, right? That's where they encounter it, which is not a place you'd typically think you'd find dinosaurs, but... Yeah,
I mean, seeing how the Pyroraptor had the feathers, like, it's... Like, dinosaurs we know, like, can survive in, like, the snow and... Yeah.
So, this is a question for you, the future paleontologist. Were there dinosaurs that actually lived in snowy...
oh, yes.
Because we don't think about that when we see, you know, as a kid...
Saber-toothed tigers.
they were at a different time than dinosaurs,
they existed millions of years after the dinosaurs died out.
But we don't think of when we see, like, the children's books and illustrations and... even movies from our childhood of dinosaurs living in snow-covered places.
Yeah, so dinosaurs, there were dinosaurs all over the world. There were even dinosaurs in Antarctica, though Antarctica was a lot closer to the equator, so it would have been a tiny bit warmer. It probably would have experienced some snow.
It was connected to Africa and South America.
Yes, at one point it was connected to... Africa, South America, Australia, Madagascar. India at the time was separated from...
India was an island.
Yeah, India was an island, and it was part of, like, that subcontinent. Wow, you're really smart, Jack, I must say.
Yeah, I didn't know India was an island. How'd you know that?
I have a book at, like, school, and it shows, like, where India was, and now, like, where it is now.
Yeah.
Is there a dinosaur that you guys saw in the preview that you're the most excited to see?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Honestly, I'm excited to see more Pyroraptor action because, well, we only got, like, a really small glimpse of it in Jurassic World Dominion, and as much as I love Dominion, I feel like one of its shortcomings is that it decided to like the quantity of the like how many dinosaurs there are was a lot larger than like they decided to have so many dinosaurs, but each one getting such little screen
They didn't
time.
really focus on any of them.
Yeah.
Jack, is there a dinosaur you're excited about from the preview to see?
The 3 raptors that the whistle lady controls that barely speaks and barely blinks.
Yeah.
Barely moves.
What are those, Atrociraptors?
Yes, those are Atrociraptors.
That's exciting, those 3. And those 3, along with, what's the name of the handler's personal raptor that she
Red.
has? Red. So those 3 and Red are all with the handler in Dominion. So it's interesting
Yes.
that I was excited to see that like they maybe have a more prolonged encounter with a Ceratosaurus. It's a cool dinosaur that like you see it just for a little bit in Jurassic Park 3, you know, when they're fishing the phone out of the Spinosaurus's droppings. That Ceratosaurus kind of looks at them, and then you see it again. You see another Ceratosaurus in
Camp Cretaceous.
Camp Cretaceous that kind of gives them the same look,
And
then there's another Ceratosaurus on Manticore Island, but you only see it brief. And like we never really have the Ceratosaurus really doing anything.
Yeah,
it's just kind of there for a second. I feel like they almost introduced it in Jurassic Park 3 just to be like, here's a new dinosaur, but we're not really gonna have it do much. But it's
when
another.
they first met Mitch and Tiff, it was like attacking them.
That's true, and they scared it off. But it'll be cool if it gets some more screen time, I think.
Yes, I totally agree.
Before we dive into this preview, watching it itself, I have a quick question since we've talked about Dominion. So your opinion as a dinosaur expert, as a budding paleontologist. So the big climactic battle in the end of Dominion features Rexy versus a Giganotosaurus, and the Giganotosaurus once again gets the upper hand. Rexy seems like she's doomed, and then another dinosaur shows up, sort of turns the tide.
Yes,
Rexy
the Therizinosaurus
bashes the Giganotosaurus into it, and the Giganotosaurus dies, and Rexy's victorious. But I know that they didn't really overlap at all in real life. But with what you know, how do you think a realistic fight between... Who do you think would actually come out on top in a one-on-one realistic fight between a T-Rex and a Giganotosaurus?
So, I honestly would... So, you've got, like, a lot to consider, because, like, it's not just a matter of, like, which is bigger, which T-Rex did weigh more, so it was a lot heavier than Giganotosaurus, and when we consider like animal sizes, we go off of weight and not like height or length. So T-Rex was a lot heavier than Giganotosaurus and a lot bulky. Its bite, like, it had a really strong bite, and I think that like a well-delivered bite from the T-Rex, I think that would defeat a Giganotosaurus.
Yeah. I know it definitely seems like it was probably strong, more heavily muscled, because even though maybe not... It seems like to the layman, which is me, that is not an expert from what I've read, there's some debate as to the actual size of a Giganotosaurus, maybe, but it probably was a little bit, longer than a T-Rex. Their maximum estimates of it, like a little longer, a little taller, but that the T-Rex was heavier, meaning probably more heavily muscled.
Yeah.
And
the big issue is that we have had like countless near complete T-Rex specimens. However, we like do not have very many fossils of Giganotosaurus that we have found.
But Giganotosaurus, it had like more teeth.
Yeah, and its teeth were a little bit different. You see, T-Rex's teeth were much thicker, and
they were the size of bananas.
Yes, they were very long teeth, but they were thicker. So because this allowed them to crush through bone, whereas Giganotosaurus's teeth were thin, and if you think of like a knife, it has those like pointed edges that allowed the Giganotosaurus to rip chunks of flesh off of its prey.
I do think, not to get too much into the weeds, but that was, to me, I think there's a lot of, amongst dinosaur experts, lovers, people that are just well educated, a lot of issue with the T-Rex Spinosaurus fight from Jurassic Park 3, with how that went down. And in my, once again, not exactly an expert, but from what I've read, understanding with the T-Rex's bite force and how powerful it was. I mean, in the beginning of that fight, the T-Rex clamps down on the Spinosaurus's neck, and the Spinosaurus eventually wriggles free, and it's like, if the T-Rex got a Spinosaurus's neck, the Spinosaurus is probably not getting out of that. With, like, it got full jaws on its neck. That's probably it right there.
Yeah.
And
happens.
it doesn't like have the like jaws to like twist things. Season 4 is also coming out in this year.
Yes, I believe there is a season 4 that has been confirmed.
Yeah, I did see that they confirmed
Next
season 4. Yeah.
Yeah, so like maybe around the time that season 2 came out. Some people think that it might be coming out on the anniversary of season 1 of Camp Cretaceous, because believe it or not, Camp Cretaceous this year is turning 5 years old.
That's amazing that we're only 5 years removed from Camp Cretaceous premiering, right?
Yes.
And we're about to be through 5 seasons of Camp Cretaceous and 3 seasons of Chaos Theory, which is wild.
That is insane.
So I guess that's a good lead into us watching this preview and seeing. Let me get this
100%.
It's called an iPad. It's called an iPad.
We're gonna watch this bad boy on Jack's iPad. So that's not how it goes.
The Allosaurus is getting headbutted from the iPad.
Jack, how do you stand this iPad up?
Like, not like this, you like.
Ah, okay, yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. Old man with technology. All right, here we go.
Yep.
Building strong relationships is like playing chess. The queen can't win alone,
Look at your chessboard.
no matter how powerful she is. We're flying with a dinosaur on board.
See, who's flying the plane?
Kenji was flying it.
Which means we're only a few miles away. Away from what? My girlfriend.
The way he says it.
Ben's alleged girlfriend.
Whoa, indeed.
Yep.
See, there's Dodgson.
Sometimes you have to play the game.
What does Biosyn have to offer?
Unfettered access to every dinosaur on Earth.
Is that a real dinosaur egg?
Won't be easy. We have to do something.
The locusts
Yep.
and leg day. Never skip leg day.
This isn't who you really are.
You don't know me. Not anymore. What is that? Not what? Who?
So good. So good.
So let's talk about. There are definitely some direct tie-ins to Dominion in that we had talked about, but the locusts, which we hadn't really talked about, Jack, and you had asked about, are we going to see someone in do we think we're going to see someone in this that was connected to the locust? Who was that you're wondering, are we going to see this season?
I was gonna ask if we were gonna see Dr. Wu at all in it.
Ooh.
Because he hasn't appeared yet in Chaos Theory, right?
No, he's made several appearances in Camp Cretaceous.
He's only in the first Jurassic World.
Yeah.
He's only in the first Jurassic World.
So he was in the first Jurassic World, and he was also in the third Jurassic World.
Yeah, and the second one.
Yeah,
He was in all three Jurassic Worlds. Yeah, that's right.
Except he was only in the one Jurassic Park.
You're right.
Really young.
Yeah. So that's a question.
Not terrifying him.
Do we think that we're going to see Dr. Wu?
I think it's very possible, considering how he's showed up in Camp Cretaceous. I think it's very possible.
This is the only Jurassic franchise he hasn't shown up yet is Chaos Theory, because he was in the Jurassic Park franchise with the first one. He was in Camp Cretaceous multiple times, multiple seasons, and he was in all three Jurassic Worlds. So I feel like it seems like this is going to tie directly into the events leading up to Dominion.
Yes.
And so if they're showing the locusts, it would only make sense for Dr. Wu to come back again.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe there's like a moment where we see like Brooklyn see Dr. Wu again, because in season 3 of Camp Cretaceous,
Dr. Wu comes to get some things on the Scorpius Rex.
Yes, and we see that he has Brooklyn with him.
Yeah.
Which is also the case in season 1, which we went over a little bit ago.
Because Hawks.
Yeah.
Hawks caught her.
We see we talked about the underground black market sort of bazaar. And in that, right around that point, we catch a glimpse of another large predatory dinosaur. I believe it's an Allosaurus. We kind of only see the back sort of nose and eye ridges, but is that an Allosaurus that we see in the preview?
With the locust flying towards it?
Yeah, so I think we see a couple of carnivorous dinosaurs. So I believe there is an Allosaurus, because also there was an Allosaurus and a Carnotaurus in that Malta scene in Dominion, so maybe we can sort of get that connection.
I think there were two Carnotaurs, because there was a little teeny one, and then there was the big one.
Yes, there was the baby Carnotaurus in Dominion.
And Toro.
Yeah. Ooh, what does happen to Toro? I know
That's a
he's
good
on
question.
Manticore Island, but what happens to Toro afterwards?
I think
That is a really good question.
I think like people might like come.
Is this an Allosaurus?
Nope.
That's another shot.
Ceratosaurus. That's
Yeah,
a
that's another shot of the
ceratosaurus.
Ceratosaurus.
Oh, okay.
Ceratosaur.
So that's
It's
not an Allosaurus. That was my mistake. I thought maybe that was.
We do see Baryonyx very briefly with the locusts all flying around.
Okay.
I thought that was an Allosaurus.
Nah, I think you can tell by the crocodile-like snout that it's...
or it could be a Suchomimus. Or a Spinosaurus, because we didn't see like the full body of it.
Spinosaurus is probably not big enough to be wherever that, but maybe, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I think this is at least, this kind of looks like the bazaar, right? So,
Yes.
and they probably had more dinosaurs
That looks
there.
like
So,
when Mitch and Tiff were attacking it, shooting the like.
oh, the fireworks at it.
Yeah.
So Mitch and Tiff from Camp Cretaceous, which in our Camp Cretaceous breakdown we have not gotten to yet, but if you're watching this, you've probably already seen Camp Cretaceous. So we'll definitely get more into Mitch and Tiff, but wild that they had who they had voicing Tiff, which I didn't realize until you brought it up.
Yeah, I did not know either.
Oh my god, what's her name?
Stephanie Beatrice.
Yeah, Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Encanto fame.
And the Lego Movie, too.
And the Lego Movie, too. That's right. So, so what are some other thoughts on the preview?
Well, the thing that I want to briefly bring up was the whole Ben's girlfriend sequence. So they land in the north.
He brings her up like on the like ride to get Yaz in season 1. She brings her up.
Yeah, when when
they're going to Kenji.
Yeah, when they're going to see Kenji, Yaz and Brooklyn are having some issues, and he's like, "Look, having a girlfriend is tough. Having a long distance one is tough. I would know because I have one." And they're like, "I'm sorry, you have a girlfriend?"
Yeah, it seems like it's completely that he's making it up is the response, but clearly he's not.
But yep, turns out.
Like,
Am I the only one? Is it just the cynic in me that feels like the fact that Ben has this long distance girlfriend, they wind up there near her, the dinosaurs are there, and then it shows the egg is hatched and what's happened to it. Am I the only one that has maybe some misgivings about, like, who is this girl that Ben's long distance girlfriend with, since, you know, Ben was so active on the Dark Jurassic and, you know, people monitoring him on there, or is it just me coming out of left field like I question?
I don't know. I think it could be possible. I mean, I kind of hope not, because well, good. All I'm gonna say is good for you, Ben. You scored big time.
At the very end, it's the shot when they're like, not what, but who? Is that what they say?
Yeah, and then we've got the raptor handler from season 1, and like we see her. There's a brief scene where we see the 3 Atrociraptors
chasing this, looking at this like lady dressed in like a robe.
What I heard, I believe that lady is Ben's girlfriend's either grandmother or something like that.
And
she's
just
very Italian
there.
though, which, I mean, as someone who is Italian myself, I mean,
in another alter ego, an Italian chef.
Yes. We don't need to talk about
many
that.
a WCTV production from his
she's
youth.
just like standing there.
Yeah, so
Like
we don't really know
standing
why
there.
she's there, but we do know that the 3 Atrociraptors from season 1 are there, and we know that somehow in Dominion, all 4 of them end up together. So maybe there might be an altercation between the broker and the whistle lady.
Maybe they work together.
I had assumed that the whistle lady worked for the broker, because the whistle lady seemed to be involved in all the stuff that was going on season 1 with the
But she made like the whistle lady like bite off her arm.
bite off Brooklyn's arm.
Yeah, and they thought
I guess
Allosaurus ate her.
Yeah, I assume that the whistle, I'm going to call her the whistle lady because we've got the handler, and if I'm like the raptor handler, that gets a little confusing, but that the whistle lady, I assume that she worked for the handler, because the handler seems to be overseeing the entire operation, and the DPW, the corrupt DPW, was working as part of that operation, and the whistle lady was also working with the DPW in some way. So she made them eat in season 1. Oh, the DPW guy, the corrupt DPW guy. What was his name?
Darius's boss.
Cabrera. Yeah. And we know that she didn't die, but she was pretty banged up, as were the 3 Atrociraptors. Although we also know, because Dominion occurs much later, that they're in Dominion, so they made a recovery. But that was when Rexy made Rexy's appearance in Camp Cretaceous, when everything went haywire at the end of season 1 in that episode on the boat.
Oh, Little Edie? Or
that was
not Little Edie, Big Edie.
Oh, that wasn't Rexy? I thought that was Rexy.
No, that was Big Edie.
Oh, see, I assumed that was Rexy, because in Dominion, they're like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park is here, and what's his name? Grant gets all freaked out and is like, the T-Rex is here? And they're like, yeah, it took us 3 years to capture it.
Yeah.
I assumed it was Rexy, and that when the T-Rex got loose from the boat, that was Rexy getting loose and being loose until it takes him 3 years to capture Rexy. So
in that episode, Kenji says, like, is that Big Edie? And Darius goes, well, it's not the Rex from Nublar.
Oh, okay. I think, okay. That's striking a bell now. So Rexy hasn't appeared in Chaos Theory yet.
No, unless you want to count the intro But
which is Rexy. They
What
need
intro?
when the very beginning of all the Chaos Theory episodes, when it shows the T-Rex and the helicopters like chasing it and stuff.
yeah,
So that maybe Rexy will make an appearance this season.
maybe. So yeah, so what was the other thing I wanted to quickly touch up upon? Oh yeah, so the raptor handler. So we know that the raptors end up in Malta somehow. My hope is that we'll get a couple more like answers about the whistleblower, like, you know, like why doesn't she talk?
Yeah.
She can't talk.
Why does she have
Is
that terrible haircut?
Yeah, why?
Why is she so pale?
Yes.
She is so pale.
Is she a robot? I
Why?
don't think she's a robot personally.
Why does she like not blink barely? She blinks barely. Like,
Yeah. We have a ton of questions. Hopefully they get answered in season 3, but we'll just have to wait until April 3rd to see it. I know that I will be watching it with my family. We will be binging it that night.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so that is going to pretty much do it for this little special that we have. Jack, thank you so much for joining me today. And next episode, we will be continuing our deep dive on Camp Cretaceous. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Cretaceous Chronicles, where we talk about all things Jurassic. I'm Dom Guisti, once again here with Sam and Jack Perkins, signing off.
peace out.
Peace out.
Awesome. That was great.
That was so good.